Your joy and misery comes from within you. Right now, you can look at everything joyfully. What is a problem, try to find a solution to it. Or you can look at everything with great sense of misery and you become part of the problem. This is a choice you have. Either you become part of the solution or part of the problem. If you are joyful, you will become part of the solution. If you are miserable, you're also part of the problem, isn't it? All human experience is generated from within. What comes from within you must be the way you want it, isn't it? I want you to understand, whatever kind of emotion you create, whether it's fear, anger, anxiety, joy, misery, ecstasy, all these are different types of emotions. If you have experienced fear, you would know it is one of the most debilitating emotions in a human mind. It is not a, uplifting experience, it's a pull-down experience, fear and anxieties. So why would you want to create that? Now people have assumed fear, anger, anxiety, these are all there and we have to deal with them. No, they are not there. You're creating them. We need to understand this. Every human experience is coming from within you. There may be an external stimulus, but you create this. In the same given situation, one person may freak out of fear, another person may remain undisturbed. So this means the situation is not giving you fear, it is the way you're reacting to it. So, if you are in a state of reaction, you will go through all these things, anything and anything and anybody can just take charge of your life and do all this stuff. This is why we talked about responsibility. Responsibility is not a civic aspect. Responsibility essentially means it's your ability to respond. If you have the ability to respond, you will do it the way you want. But if you are a compulsive reaction, outside situation will take over your life. And never, I'm telling you never, virus or no virus, never ever will the outside situations in your life ever be 100% in your hands. It'll never be so. That is the very nature of existence. All this is happening because people are not conscious that they are mortal. They think other people die. They don't know consciously that I will die. As I sit here, my clock is ticking away. What is ticking away is not the clock, life is just ticking away. If you're conscious of this, you would manage your life in the best possible way. You think you have eternal amount of time, so you have time for all kinds of rubbish. There are only two aspects to life. It's a certain amount of time and a certain amount of energy. Time is rolling away for all of us the same way. There's no choice about this. It's just going. But you can manage your energy. If you manage your energies in a very intense and dynamic way, what somebody does in 10 years, what somebody experiences in 10 years, you could experience in 10 days or 10 moments. In this context, you will live long. If both of us live for 100 years, in my experience of intake of life and impact of life, I have lived here for 1,000 years. Somebody else, in 100 years, they could have barely lived for a year or 10 years. Because they are practicing, they're committing suicide in installments. The way the humanity is reacting is very expected. The fear, the insecurity and the economic panic and many religious nuts reacting in their own way and saying they will find some heavenly solution. Of course, leaving this place is a good solution, if that's what you think about yourself. But most people want to live. This idea that, in my opinion, This idea that there is a better place elsewhere than this planet to live is the most disastrous and criminal idea that's gotten into people's heads. So the idea of heaven, that there is another place which is better than this place, has been the main source of destruction in many ways. If people realized this is the place for you to live, either you make this into heaven or hell, within yourself and around yourself, if everybody got this, I think we would live much more sensibly. So, there are religious nuts, there are people with ideologies who are thinking and philosophies, people are busy weaving new philosophies. There are a whole lot of people that there is some sadistic satisfaction. Whenever a tragedy happens, they will try to find a lesson and write a scripture on that, how you're being punished by God or by nature or this or that. That's not the way to look at it. When people suffer, what is needed is compassion and responsible action, that's all. It is not a time to weave philosophy and say, because you did all this, now you're getting this as a result of that. This is a very… I don't know, it's quite inhuman for me to tell people who are suffering. Right now, somebody is on their deathbed with their lungs full of whatever, fibrosis or whatever. You go and tell that guy, you're being punished because you did something wrong with this planet, or you did something wrong against God, or whatever philosophies you have. I think it's quite obscene to do that. It is just that this is the nature of life. Nature of life is such, it is one life is woven into another. Lives are not happening separately. All lives are woven into one another, and at certain times, certain life dominates certain situations. Right now it is the virus. It's time right now, we need to overcome this. I just want to live in a wonderful world, not with miserable people, so I'm trying to add some company.